Hey guys, sorry about that. This is going to be a part 2 to the video that we just started. I think we were like maybe 4 or 5 minutes in, so we didn't cover much ground yet, although we do have a lot of cards out here. I'm looking at Ace of Swords, Page of Wands, the Tower, Four of Pentacles, and we have Knight of Swords all in the top row. There's also a bottom row, but I want to just talk about this first. Ace of Swords is going to be a moment where something can happen. If stuff wasn't really moving before, this can be a time when if there was confusion, if there was stuff that wasn't clear, anything that wasn't being brought to light. Ace of Swords is a moment where it feels like the flashlight is being brought. We can see everything that's going on. And then to end with the world shows that a bunch of stuff here has come to light. Ending with the world is this notion of something being complete now because the Ace of Swords is here. So Ace of Swords and Page of Wands feels like what's happening and a path that's being walked down can now be being clarified. And this can also mean too that there is some sort of breakthrough. Maybe you were hitting a wall before, maybe something wasn't really moving, but it feels like now you're here, there's something that's going on, we need you to be here right now. Looking at the Tower that's happening, there can be something that you're doing where you know that that's where you're supposed to be, like you've been called to be there. Having the Tower looks like something that you're observing that's going on within the environment, where something may be falling, something can be decaying in some way, and it looks like it's related to a system because we have the Hierophant under it. Hierophant can be some sort of structure that we've had. Having the Tower behind it feels like a kingdom that's falling. It feels like this can be an establishment that's collapsing. This is some type of structure that there is a big undertaking that's happening. And there can be a particular person or particular people that are the head of that, even the head of a committee for some of you. And this can be a time too when something big is going on, and so people can be moving in the direction of other people that they feel like are going to be able to guide them through it. You know, when there's chaos all around and so people sort of cling to leaders or voices of authority within a community, there can be some of that that's going on, but also too, in a community that's like that, the Tower can be occurring as well. This can be breaking into a new way of doing things or a new system. Even though the Tower is happening, which feels like, obviously there's a volcano here, Four of Pentacles can be being like, I'm still going to hold on to it, or I'm not going to try to crawl back over there. And it feels like if one refuses to move where one needs to move here, it's like the lava is going to sort of freeze you into that state. And so this can be even like news or information that you're getting about how you may be being too rigid or holding on to something that's clearly broken or like falling apart at this point. But this can be about other people too, something that's happening. Something that I find interesting with this is that below Ace of Swords is the Five of Cups, and Five of Cups can be something that you were feeling sad about, something that you were feeling upset about. This can even be something coming to light that maybe is hard to digest. Simultaneously, it means that there is a moving into the present moment. So if you had been feeling stuck in the past, this can be a moment where you get pulled very much into the present, and it feels like things start making a lot of sense, maybe in a way that they hadn't been before. Having Page of Wands and having Ten of Cups puts you on a path that you feel very happy to be walking upon. Simultaneously with the Tower and the Hierophant, this means that something that you could have believed in or something that you could have been giving authority to, or even like a system, or that means a belief system can be part of this as well. It doesn't have to be something tangible. For some of you, it is something tangible. This can be something that provided security for certain people, can be really collapsing. But it's only if infrastructure, I'm hearing it's only if something is being misused or like built improperly, or stuff is happening that's not supposed to be happening. Mars comes through and it's going to regulate things. It's going to break things down that shouldn't have been built up. And having the Hierophant here, this can be a whole reform that's going on when it comes to what you are allegiant to even. And it can also be a time of seeking guidance because of there being a bit of a time of chaos that's erupting. Having Four of Pentacles and having Five of Swords feels like holding on to something out of fear rather than allowing the things to move around. And this can even feel like something is happening and it's attempting to disadvantage you in some way. However, with the Five of Swords, it feels like recognizing that this dismantling that's happening is because it's supposed to be happening. But Five of Swords can be showing you where you have a way of thinking, where you feel like when this stuff happens, it's coming to attack you in some type of way, or that you got to only look out for you and not sort of move in the rhythm of everything else, or you have your certain ways of doing things and you're not going to budge on it, even though the Tower is coming through saying, hey, like times are changing, things are becoming different. I'm seeing Mars and I'm seeing Saturn connecting with one another here, and I'm also seeing Taurus as well. With the Hierophant, it even feels like somebody rising to power in a community, and there are some energies that are like happy about this and other energies that are not happy about this. In a more collective sense, this is a chapter that's going to be starting if it has not started already. I'm seeing justice. Having the Tower and having the Hierophant, what this means is that if you've been putting belief or putting faith or giving authority to something or anything that doesn't deserve that, that isn't doing things in a way where they deserve that respect or that allegiance, it can be a time when those things come crumbling down. But because of being used to doing things in that way, because this can even be patterns and habits or like what we've always done, because this can be part of traditions, conventionality with the Hierophant. Having Four of Pentacles here can be a part of you that you hold on to things because you're used to doing things in that way. So again, even though times are changing, there can be a part of you that you may want to hold on to something even though it's collapsing, because clearly it's time for that to be happening. And being like very caught up in something that's sort of holding you back rather than facing forward so we can move with this. I do find this to be generally interesting because it feels like there's a big mix of what's going on. To have you breaking out of something, like really it feels more than just an emotion that you are experiencing. This feels like an emotional experience that you are experiencing, where there is light, there's truth that's being brought, and you are breaking out of something that you could have been having a hard time pulling yourself out of. Because Five of Cups is being stuck in the past because something has not been assimilated, and Ace of Swords feels like it's a moment where it's allowing for things to be assimilated. And having Page of Wands and having Ten of Cups feels like being on a path that one is very happy to be on, and this being like the right direction that one is meant to be going in. And simultaneously, having this Tower and having the Hierophant, this feels like a really big thing with the Tower and the Hierophant. This feels like a whole structure that is collapsing, and it's about what you are appointing authority within your life, ultimately, what you are putting your faith in, what you're putting your belief in, who you look who you look to for guidance, and what systems you even support. This also means, like, what traditions are you following? Are we still following those things? Is it time when something becomes a bit more unconventional? Because we're like building a new path, building a new way, maybe because certain things have grown obsolete. That feels like a bit of an oxymoron, saying something has grown obsolete, because when you think about obsolete, it's like it's sort of stopped growing, you know, stopped evolving. But maybe it's not, because maybe something has grown obsolete because it's actually devolving or growing in a direction that it's not supposed to be. And it feels like that's what Mars is doing here. Like, what business does Mars have to be coming through? And it's to knock something down that's not supposed to be any longer, to bring things back into balance. Having Four of Pentacles can be having a really difficult time with this, because it's like, but we've always been doing this. Even if something is corrupt, like inherently, you know, it can be but I'm so familiar with doing things in this way, or I've always believed in this. And there can be this feeling that's having a very, very difficult time adjusting to this that's happening. Like, sort of figuring out where your loyalty lies. Is it lying with consistency, or is it lying with the truth here? Because it does feel like the truth being exposed. But there is something that's been being held onto out of fear, and it feels very much like that is being checked and exposed in this moment, and that there is going to be a moving forward that's happening. This feels beyond inclusive of the individual journey, while also being inclusive of the collective journey as well. That there is a breach, I'm hearing, there is a moving forward that's happening. And you can be seeing where you're still holding on to things and where it's not allowing you to evolve. And Mars is coming through saying you can't keep doing things in this way, you're staying stuck. And it feels like it's encouraging you to keep growing. Like, something is completed now, we're done with that lesson, we move on to the next thing, we're moving on to the next cycle. Structures of belief definitely being involved in this. I mean, classically, Mars and Saturn clashing with one another, like they have something to be working out here, but it feels like working together, actually. And Mars can be an element that we see as being very destructive, but it's not without reason. Mars is coming through and it's destroying things or breaking things down that actually need to be, because it's out of balance. So ultimately Mars is bringing balance, but can do so in a volatile way, can do so in a way where it's a very powerful force that can't really be fought against, essentially, because things are swinging back in that direction. And Saturn feels like there's going to be a big reform of some sort and a stepping into the next cycle of things, because there is now a completion. So this means that stuff has been exposed that needed to be exposed in order for us to move forward. And that's what's happening. I feel like a whole system being broken down. And this can be a community that's being broken down. And this can be multiple things, you know? It can be like the local government in your town, you know, something going on in your province. It can be something that's going on state to state or country to country, or it can be in your like local school community. Something can be happening, and it can be like all of those things. Doesn't just have to be one place, but this can be something very big that's happening that is going to have an echo that will impact other places. Schools can be involved in this. Anywhere where there's like a structure and a system can be involved in this, and how things are being run as well, and who's in charge of what. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I'd like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.